some consistency. Testing. You think you know about relationships, but you're wrong. Listen, there's no magic bullet. I'm teaching life skills. When you're sick, you need medicine. It don't always taste good. Nah. But it'll get you better. You need this medicine. Yeah. It ain't gonna always taste good, but this is what you need. Man. And women, bottom line, we need to have the conversation. Your partner wants to give up control, but only if you know how to drive. This is about being the best you could ever be, whoever you are. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, LGBTQ, space alien. I'll save anybody. I don't care. I'll teach a hedgehog how to have a threesome.
What do you mean by that?
Look, you don't have to listen to me, but you're wrong. Listen, I know I'm great. And I know you're thinking, Dante, there's no way I could be like you. But you could be me, you know why? Because you know who I was? Before I was me, I was you.
Man School 202. Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.
Yo, GYBD, get your girls back, WWDD. What would Dante do? The sexual revolution is being podcasted, and I am excited. Welcome Thursday. We in the building. What the deal, y'all? What the deal? It's good to be back. Thank y'all for tuning in. Happy Thursday. Let me get those numbers up. You know what it is. If y'all can hear me in the comments, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if y'all hear me good. I was napping. I just jumped up because I promised my peoples that I would come, and I am here. So make no bones about it. Y'all matter. Because I really didn't feel great today. But we're going to get into it. We're going to do what it do, like always. And we're probably going to have a great show, just like always. So I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all. Thumbs up. My man, thanks, George. Z and D and Harmonies. Thank y'all for coming in the comments. Let's get the number up. Why not? Let's get the number up. Yes, sir. Oh man, why is Harry's name up on this? That's weird. I gotta figure that out. What's poppin', y'all? It's all good. Not gonna matter right now anyway. So who's in the comments? If y'all in the comments, holla at your boy. Phone calls are ready. Let's get it. Let's see if the phones is working. Looks good so far. Yo, what up? What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's George again, man. You know, just always show the love.
What's going on, George? How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Just always trying to let everyone know this shit's real.
I appreciate it, man.
You've been there for me.
They're gonna find out. Yeah. If they don't find out, they better.
I keep trying. Every time y'all talk about the 5 bricks, I'm always like, no, that shit worked as planned.
Yeah, it's I can't tell you. You know what? There's a lot to that. What up, Xavier? What's up? You played yourself.
it's life changing, and it's a
Yep.
weird kind of thing how something as simple as that is so life changing. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
you just wouldn't think it is. What was your experience when you started doing it?
It was the typical, like how everyone says you're gonna be kind of scared. You're gonna be like,
Yeah, yeah.
girls are gonna be upset with me or they're gonna be mad. I didn't get none of that. There was some days where I got home tired, and I'm like, I gotta get 4 more.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I would just
yeah.
go to the fucking grocery store, just like walk up and down the aisles. And after about 7-8 weeks, I was at a party and there's like a girl kind of touching me. And I like you said, you slip and fall. Slip and fall is the perfect description.
Yeah. It's you slip and fall into some booty. I get it.
I remember waking up the next day like, oh shit, that shit was real.
Yeah, I appreciate you, yo.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, George.
yeah,
Thank you,
man.
man. I'm gonna explain laying the 5 bricks because I see in the comments,
Yep.
Huni Giori. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right. You can also call in Huni, and I'll explain it to you. But I'll explain it to you even if you don't. But George, thanks for calling in, bro. I appreciate you,
Yeah,
man.
man. This shit's real. This is for anybody listening. This shit's like life changing. Like you can't understate that. So y'all, thank you, Dante.
I appreciate you, bro.
Catch you later.
All right. Later.
All right. All right.
Yo, Huni in the chat is telling me he wants to know what the 5 bricks is. So I'm gonna give a background. Okay, the Giannis is you give a genuine comment to 5 women. Let me put him up right now. We'll put Gianni's comment up. Bam, here we go. Giannis says, give a genuine comment to 5 women a day, a compliment which you would want nothing in return, authentic. So, I mean, that's a good way of explaining it. I'm gonna give it a little more detail. What you ultimately have to do is you go out, you compliment 5 women a day, every day. It has to be 5 different women. But it's not just women that you particularly want to sleep with. It's women who are it's just women, older, younger, attractive, skinny, short, fat, skinny, blind, and crazy. It don't matter. But the compliment has to be non-sexual, and it has to be honest. So even if you think that somebody is repulsive, to your, and I mean that from your perspective. Even if they're repulsive, all you have to do is find something on them that you can compliment honestly, not something that you're just making it up or you just lying. You got to be authentic. You got to find something to compliment. You compliment them, and then you move on. That's it. You are not allowed to get the number, at least in the first phase, and it may not be something sexual. It shouldn't be something sexual. So it could be, I love your makeup, I love your shoes, it's a great bag, I love your t-shirt, your tattoos are nice, love your hair, whatever. Can't be you got a big ass booty, you got some nice McGuffies. That can't be your compliment, but it should be something classy, something tasteful, something honest, and something that is very is truthful. And let me explain, Huni. Let me explain why that changes the game. That changes the game because ultimately, every time that you are talking to a woman, women are so accustomed to having guys hit on them, right? What you need to do is have a conversation with women that is non-transactional, where you're not trying to have sex with them, you're not trying to get a number, you are just paying a compliment for no other reason than, and the reality is what you're doing is the approach anxiety that everybody has because, nobody wants to talk to somebody and be rejected. So what it does is it gets you past the moment of where you start to worry. But when you do it frequently enough, you you stop worrying about the rejection. It becomes commonplace you talking to women. So that's the first thing it does. Get you past. Now the concern is, and I've heard this, every pickup artist, every red pill guy, they talk about, oh, women want you to do this and women want you to do that, and now you can't say nothing to them. All of that is lies. Anybody who's on here right now that has laid a brick, whatever their worst case scenario, their worst situation is that they thought was going to happen, did not happen, laying the 5 bricks. I'm not saying that every girl is going to respond, but also in the first phase, you're not doing it to get a response back. So, oh, I love your makeup, and you keep moving. That's how you start. It starts, and I've learned this through periods of time. This is the best way that I know how to teach something. When I say the technique to teaching is what I call part to whole. There's a massive level of different techniques and things that you have to learn, because we all have goodness and stuff. We all have something to offer somebody, right? The problem is, even when we have a lot to offer a woman, we don't know how to market that. And the reason why we don't know how to market is because we've never learned. It's the same problem I have with the internet and blowing up on the internet. I don't really understand. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't understand the internet, but I don't understand the algorithm and all the things that go with it. And for the most part, it's difficult for me to get the traction that I think I need to get, to get the followers and stuff to build this movement. So that's why a lot of times I'm asking you guys to share and share the content we put. But let me just skip back to the point is that what you're doing is you're paying a compliment to somebody non-transactionally. All you want to do is just do the act, because you doing the act is what makes you comfortable about doing the act. I'm hoping that makes sense. Over and over again, I think men are expected to be able to do things, to be great at relationships, to be great at social interactions, which is weird because most of us have very little experience in it. And I personally think it's really unfair to expect a guy to be good at something when he hasn't had any practice. He hasn't had anybody to teach him how to do it. It's just it's one of those things. It's just difficult, I think you have to. These are things that you have to learn, and if you don't learn it, right, I think that you're in a situation where you're not going to be good at it. So I hope that answers your question, Yoni. What laying the 5 bricks is, it seems like, and when you start doing it, I think what happens a lot of times, people are very apprehensive about it because they're afraid that they're going to get rejected, or they think that they're going to get cursed out. And anybody is just like what George said when he called in. None of the worst nightmares that he thought was going to happen happened, because people just don't respond that way. And the other thing is, people very rarely respond in a negative way when you're honest. So part of the thing that shields you from the whole idea of getting cursed out, or whatever you think the worst case scenario is, right, is a situation where you're doing something that's honest. And in a way, how does somebody mad at you because you're being honest? It just doesn't make sense. That's just not what happens. Because people just don't act that way. Moreover than not, they just don't act that way. So, I think if we think about it like that, I think that there's a real situation where we get into a situation where what happens is a very honest exchange, and even if it's not an honest exchange, even if it's a one-sided exchange, what happens is you start to lose your fear of talking to women because you're talking to them, and your biggest fear that you think is going to happen just doesn't happen. And what you'll find is that will happen over and over again. Every time you do it, every time you get it. And then sometimes, like what George was saying, you sometimes you get lucky and just you didn't even know that somebody might find you attractive or might feel a certain way about you, and then they respond to you in ways that you never thought was even possible. So I mean, honestly, that's just what happens. So that's what the 5 bricks is. Let me shout out to whoever else is in the Huni, Giannis, what's going on? Giannis was the one that I put that thing on Z and D. Played yourself. I said, "What's up?" Zen Master Sports Shorts. Zen said, "Just don't do it at work." Um, even at work, I don't think that's a problem if it's something as mundane as those are really nice shoes. You know, um, I don't. Who's gonna say you said to somebody you really and women? And here's the thing: women love shoes. I mean, I know that sounds very stereotypical, but it's just true. Stereotypes sometimes come from truth. And if you compliment somebody's shoes and you have that same interest, you'd be surprised how they light up when you compliment their shoes or whatever you the way you respond to them. So it's an interesting concept. I did want to talk about something, and I'm always you know, you guys actually guide the show. I don't know if I ever told you that, but if there's something that you want to talk about, it just go in the comments and talk about it. I'll explain whatever you want me to explain if you have questions. If not, y'all know the number. I'll give you the number. Here we go. 929-269-4922. The number's up. If you like what we're doing, man, hit me with the Cash App, or you can super chats or PayPal. I put up the PayPal because I was told by international listeners that they can't use Cash App. So there's the PayPal. Scan it and give. But yeah, I want you to. I want something I want to understand. And shout out to my little man Celino, because he's always I dig the fact that he'll consult with me and he'll always check and see what he's doing correctly before he makes moves. And even when he makes moves, um, I like the fact that he checks with me just to make sure that he's on track, because it's important to stay on track. And nobody's expecting you to be perfect, but I do expect you to maintain the 3 principles, which is authenticity, telling the truth, credibility, say what you mean what you say, and keep your word, and empathy, understand that people are going through things that they wouldn't normally go through. Um, so if you don't know what they'll go through, you can't really sometimes you have to ask questions before you just assume that you understand who it is. Wow. Okay. Let's see what we got. I got a call. What's your name? Where you calling from? Like, I don't know.
Hello, Harley. I'm H. I'm calling from the UK. Was just about to go to sleep and see if I figured I might ask you a question, if that's all right.
What's going on, man? How you doing? What part of the UK you in?
London.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. I'll be out there in October. So, but how can I help you, bro?
Okay, so this is a bit of a throwback. The Black Phillip show, it was mentioned a few times that hate is the same as love.
Okay.
I just don't understand how that is.
Well, so I still got to figure this out too. I'm gonna tell you honestly. First of all, let me say this: when people go back to the Black Phillip show and they're talking about it in that manner, right? I always say that a lot of the things from the Black Phillip show, um, it has changed in terms of my perspective on it. There were things that I just through being just as I got older and more mature, I just realized that some of the things that I was saying maybe it wasn't wrong, but I was just trying to be more precise. So here's what I want you to understand. One of the things that I say in man school all the time is that never let emotion have a seat at the table. I don't know if you've heard me say that before, but what it means is, in essence, is that if you are allowing emotion to have a seat at the table, what chances are you're not going to make the best decisions, right? Do you understand why that is, or do you need me to explain that?
I would love if you could explain that.
Okay.
I agree with what you said, but I don't understand why exactly that is.
Okay, it's because anytime you're emotional about something, right? You're motivated in emotional ways. You're not gonna check the full perspective because there's an anxiety, there's an anxiousness to that, right? So when you allow emotion to have a seat at the table and you make decisions based on your emotional state, what you're doing is your chances are you are not taking into consideration all the variables and all the information. The minute you've heard of the whole fight and flight, right?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the reasons is this is genetically part of being a mammal, is that when we get in situations where a dire or there is our lives are in danger, or we perceive it, or whatever, or the anxiety, what happens is our brain, our heart, and our lungs, we pumps blood to the extremities of our body, so that if we have to fight, we can defend ourselves more efficiently. If we need to run, we need to flee, then our legs have a full of blood and oxygen, so that you are aware of that, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine now you're trying to you get anxiety, it reads as fear, and then all of a sudden your body starts to instinctually starts to pump the blood from your brain to your body to your muscles. Naturally, you're not gonna think as clearly and not gonna be as precise as you're thinking. Make sense?
Yeah.
So what happens is anytime there's emotion involved, right? Or especially fear or anything else, we are clouded by our logic is clouded, our reasoning is clouded, so we make decisions that we normally wouldn't make. That's kind of like, how like people would always say, oh, he was thinking with his head instead of his head, his little head instead of the big head. It's the same kind of thing. You because you have a desire, because you're in an emotional state, you don't think as logically. Now, when you're talking about now take that into consideration. The same thing is true with a woman, right? When she has elicited certain emotions, she's just not making the best decisions, and so she's much more easily persuaded because of the fact that she's emotional. Now, a lot of times we're afraid of the anger side of it, but the anger side of it is still emotion. So when I say you can't have emotion have a seat at the table because you don't make as good decisions, that means any emotion. That means anxiety, fear, that means ego, that means even if you're cocky, how many times have we seen like MMA or boxing where a guy was super cocky and then he gets knocked out? Because when he's aware and he's focused, you're always going to make a better situation. So the same thing is true with a woman. If a woman, anger is emotion. attractiveness and love is emotion. All of these things are emotion. But it also makes you just as well as women much more easily persuaded. Whereas there's things that you would do, right, when you are passionate or infatuated, or you're lusting for somebody where you wouldn't normally. The same thing is true with any emotion. It's not there's no it's not distinguishable from anger and thing. It's just emotion doesn't allow your brain to function as efficiently. Does that make sense?
I understand. Yeah, does make sense. Yeah.
And so this is why when you're approaching, when you're talking to girls, when you're hitting on them, when you meet any social situation, you need to stay as calm as possible. And the way that you stay as calm, the calmer you are, the better it off is you're going to function. Your brain is going to function. So what also happens is another way to calm your brain is because if you put yourself in a situation that is most common to you, in an environment that you've been comfortable with. That's why when boxers go into the boxing gym, they go through drills over and over again. They spar, they do these things because you can't just box in your house in a mirror and then all of a sudden somebody's trying to take your head off. You're just not going to function in the same way. As soon as you get hit, even Mike Tyson says this all the time. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, that is true. The same truth was everybody's got a plan till the girl is way hotter than you thought she was. Everybody's got a plan when a girl is nasty to you, or you feel rejected, or you feel insecure, or everybody's got a plan until emotion comes into place. You can definitely count on the fact that your brain will not function as efficiently as it normally will. And that's just the truth. I mean, that's just scientifically so. So what you're trying to, and that's why laying the bricks is so important, because it gets you to a point where you're comfortable in a situation interacting with a woman because you've done it so many times. Make sense?
Yes. You explained this very thoroughly. Thank you very much.
Okay, I appreciate it. Anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you very much, Dante, and I appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you for calling, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Phone lines are open, y'all. Hold on. Let me just put this up real quick. Phone number's up 929-269-4922. Good question too, because I don't always understand. I don't always explain things because of the fact that I'm trying not to make this boring for people who listen, religiously, and that I'm explaining these same tropes over and over again. Stanther Royman, what's going on? Thanks for coming in, man. It's it's one of those things that I don't want it to be bored, but I also need to explain it. And hearing it over and over again is not a bad thing, honestly, because you commit it to memory. I really want these tropes and these rules to be in your head in a way that you never do. What's your name? Where you calling from, bro?
Hey, what's happening, OG? My name is Dylan. I'm from Houston.
What's up, Dylan? How you doing, bro? My boy is from Houston. Ali Sadiq is one of my best friends.
Okay, yeah, very familiar, man.
Yeah,
hilarious guy.
How can I help you, Dylan?
Yeah, man. So I'm pretty familiar with yourself, man. I dabbled with some of your old work, man, some of your old interviews and stuff.
Got you.
And I was curious, man, because I know you mentioned that you used to. I don't know if I can mention I used to pimp back in the day.
Yeah. Everybody knows that. I don't. One of the things about me, I don't hide nothing because I don't want nobody to be able to dig something up later to expose me. No Diddy. You know,
Right,
I don't
right.
want somebody to find 1,000 baby oil bottles in my house. You know, that I'm supposed to be an upstanding or like that. So I'm pretty you know, candid and open about my past. But yeah,
No, no, I respect that, and I'm just calling. I mentioned that because I noticed that a lot of like great game is had from pimps or just people. That's like the pickup artists. That's where they really get their
of
source
course,
from.
of
You
course,
know, and
of course.
so I'm curious as far as for you dabbling in the game. Did you have like a mentor that taught you, or you kind of learned on the fly type of dealer?
I'm gonna tell you, and I've talked about this before. Um, all you know, all great pimps are born, right? But
Mm,
you know who torn, you know who teaches you that and brings that out to you is, and this is, and I've had arguments, extensive arguments with podcasters and radio people when I say that nobody wakes up and decides they want to be a pimp. That just, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm saying that just never pans out. The way you become a pimp is because some girl who is in the game or wants to get in the game kind of proposes to you. Oh, you know, I would, you know, I like you enough that I would, you know, I would do whatever I have to do to get this money and then bring it back to you. And even as a square, right? Even when you got that spirit in you, right? You don't know that until somebody brings it, until a woman brings you out. And so you know, what's funny is that, I mean, for lack of a better word, it's the women that turn out the men.
mm,
So you have a certain swagger. They can feel it in you, right? And then they pick you and they go, okay, well, I'm gonna do this, and then you half the time you don't even believe it's possible. Like, I mean, if you think about this, if you're a square, right, and a woman says that she's gonna do that, you would not even believe her. You know what I'm saying? Until
right,
she comes back and puts the money in your pocket. You feel me?
right.
So
Yeah,
so now you got the money in your pocket, and then she's telling you how it goes. Now, but she's turning you out, really, whether you realize it or not. You feel me?
yeah,
And then the next thing you understand the game and you understand what's going on, and then you basically now you're in the game because somebody because somebody has taught you. You feel me?
right.
So that's how I mean, you can't. It's kind of got to be in you. To the same token, for me, it was something that I just didn't have. I didn't have the ice, the ice water in my veins to keep doing it because ultimately it is, even though it's going to happen whether or not you do it or not, and proof in that is that look at OnlyFans. Like you don't have there's not like there's bona fide players and pimps walking around with purple hats and stuff like that. That's like not happening. I mean, that happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying it doesn't happen in a situation like as frequently as it did, right? So my
Right.
thing is, but given that there's not even that availability, right? At this point, women have found a way to pimp themselves on the internet.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel that.
And so and this is a funny thing where people talk about it, like somebody that wants to sell their body, they're gonna sell their body whether or not you sell it or not. I
Oh,
mean, there's a certain level of I guess a level of comfort and security they look to get a man, and that's how the game started. But ultimately, man, it's you see this right now. Women, if there's nobody to do it, right? They've done it on their own. How many hundreds of thousands of women are on OnlyFans? You know, stuffing stuff up in the gash and spreading open and whatever to make money. And here's the crazy thing about that. If I'm lying, Google it. Look up when you get a chance. Google what does the average woman make on OnlyFans.
Oh man, it's pathetic.
It's like
It's
150. It's like
minimum wage level.
huh? What do
The
you? I mean,
minimum wage level.
yeah. Well, I don't even think it's that. It's like $150 a month. But you have women who feel as though, oh, because they're delusional and they don't understand. You know, they're like, yo, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make millions. Everybody ain't Black China, and the reason why everybody was trying to do that with why Black China made all that money was because she was already famous. So the reality is that she could have made money doing anything. She just chose to do it on her back. You feel me?
Right. That's that's the best way to actually know how to do it.
Yeah. So I mean, I think when we look at it that way, I think it becomes so if that answers your question, I mean that's how I got into it. It was a chick that turned me on, and then I reached out to other dudes who was in the game. I had a guy who was he was kind of in the game, like on a upscale call girl kind of thing that I knew, an older dude, and he kind of helped me with the logistics. But for the most part, it's a woman that turns you out. Make sense?
Yep, makes perfect sense. And yeah, I just feel like that's the similar story I hear from guys that get turned out is they get chosen and just kind of dive right into it. So it's pretty interesting.
But
Yeah, I appreciate your feedback.
have a certain there's a certain, I guess you could say, je ne sais quoi that women can see in them that a lot of times you don't see it in yourself. You know?
Right, that leadership. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So make sense?
Yep.
All
Man, I
right, family.
appreciate it, boss.
Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for calling in.
Yep, be easy.
Yeah. Phone numbers up. 929-269-4922. It's an interesting thing. I mean, I actually was friends with I'm still friends with him. I just haven't spoke to him in a while, but I was friends with Rosebud from American Pimp, and I knew a couple Mac Daddy JT and a bunch of other dudes. But I mean, you already have it kind of. There's always that. It's that guy, you know, like if you even remember in elementary school and high school, it was always that guy. You know, like it's funny because Patrice used to say that guy that girls sing his name. How you doing, Ricky? You know, it's a thing where certain guys just have that thing, and then and some chick who's in the game already, you know, puts it out there. Phone numbers up, 929-269-4922. Let's see who's in the chat. Shout out to Curated Vibrations, Classic Alchemist. What's going on? Guys call when the lines are open. Hard to get into the calls with y'all calling when someone's on the line. Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out a way. Oh yeah, so Curated Vibrations said he just looked it up. OnlyFans, the average OnlyFans is $151 per month. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, you do better at working at McDonald's, you know? So let's see what we got here. What's your name? Where you calling from, player?
Yo, you know who it is. I don't have to enter my name. We've been consulting. We actually just talked recently, so we just been consulting for a couple of years.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What's going
you know
on,
who
bro?
it is.
How can I help you?
I'm good. Yo, man, I got a question for you, man. You know, there's always bad information on the internet, and it's always like, I want to know what's your take on just opening up to a girl, like that sense of, you know, how women say, oh, I want a man to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like, what does that really mean? Could you translate that for me?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, I will tell you this. I don't never take a woman's advice. If you want to know how to hunt deer, you ask the hunter. You don't ask the deer.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, yes, I think there are moments when I think that you can be vulnerable, right? But trust me, if you're too vulnerable, you will find yourself where she finds you unattractive. So a lot of times, it depends on how toxic the woman is or not. I absolutely think that you can. I mean, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to tell you what I think. I don't like the term vulnerable, right? Because vulnerable means that you can be hurt or injured, easily hurt or injured, right? And I think you can be open and honest and not be vulnerable. You see, when we say vulnerable, it's almost like, oh, now I am subject to injury and there's nothing I can do about it. I have learned I can be open and honest about my pain, about things that I've gone through, but that doesn't mean that I'm ever unaware that when somebody is taking advantage of me, you know? And so
Mhm.
what they want you to what they want to do, what they're really saying is they want you to share things with them. If you're like closed in, they want you to share things with them. But then you'll find sometimes that you'll share something with a woman and then she'll use it against you, and it's not even on purpose. It's because women are operating, especially in relationships, they're operating from an emotional perspective, right? So you do something to me, I do something to you. It's petty, it's whatever, right? So I think you can be honest about who you are, right, and still not be vulnerable, if that makes sense. You know,
Got it.
um, you can talk about pain that you've had and things that you went through in personal, but also the minute that somebody is showing you that they're throwing that in your face, then you got to be like, look, my daddy beat me every day. I'm not saying that my dad did that, but I'm just saying my daddy beat me every day. And then she goes,
Right.
yeah, well, that's why your daddy beat you every day. And you can be like, you know what? Here's what you could do. You could go and pack your bags and get the fuck. I'm calling you an Uber right now, because we all know when somebody is intentionally saying something to hurt our feelings. And
Mhm.
sometimes because we're emotionally attached to them, then we let it ride or we let it hurt more. We have to keep in mind whatever pain we've gone through in the past is in the past. I mean,
Right.
do I not understand that people still are riving and reeling about things that have gone in the past? And that's kind of what this show is about. It's about getting past that and getting to the stable platform where you can actually be yourself and deal with these things with a perspective, with a reasonable perspective. But if you've opened up to somebody and then they're throwing that up in your face, right? We all know what that's about. That's somebody whose intention is to hurt you. And once you see that, you need to take that needs to be part of the serial killer dossier or profile. Because if somebody will do that, then they'll do it again. This is somebody who is fine. Like here's a crazy thing. I was talking about this about Puff Daddy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And all the stuff that's going on. Here's a guy who clearly felt insecure, right? And so he got powerful, gained a lot of power, and then he made every time that he could take advantage of people or bend somebody's will or make them do the things that they didn't want to do, he did that. And then he
Right.
got so powerful that nobody would say no. I was just looking at something the other day. They were saying that Prince Andrew from the royal family was partying with Diddy, right? There's a whole
Mhm.
bunch of Sony executives, Chris Lighty, all these dudes are resigning because they're confiscating cell phones and stuff like that. So here's a situation when you had this powerful guy who was like, literally, he is the Caligula of our time, you know? And if you don't know who Caligula is, Google it. Y'all know who, you'll find out. Great movie, by the way. But he was, you become sick with power. And as you become sick with power, you will do things to people because you feel so insecure that you start to take advantage of you. You can be in a situation, be vulnerable, and then have the woman that you trust and the woman that you love take the things that you've been vulnerable about and throw it up in your face as a way to gain control. But you got to understand, once somebody has showed you that's who they are, believe them. They're doing that for a reason. It's a way of gaining control. Sometimes it's just because somebody's so toxic, but the point is that you can be vulnerable and still leave, whether or not it hurts you or not. You have to that's why I say you got to not have emotion have a seat at the table, because if you allow emotion to have a seat at the table, you will be in a situation that is clearly bad for you. It's emotionally toxic. It is emotionally abusive, and you will stay there because emotionally you can't make a clear decision that this is the time to move and get away from it. Make sense?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, makes sense.
All right, brother. I appreciate you calling, man.
What doesn't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse.
Always
Later,
does.
man.
Always does.
All right. Later, bro.
Later. Yeah, it's a weird thing that thing, and when we're looking at, even when we look at the whole Diddy thing, it's so widespread, right, and so excessive. I mean, I don't know if y'all whoever's following it, but they found 784 dildos in his house. It's over 1,000 bottles of baby oil, and just the absurdness of the ridiculousness of this.
Gee.
To accept, press 1.
What's your name? Where you calling from, bro?
My name is Jay. I'm calling from Toronto.
What's up, Jay? How are you, brother? It's good to hear your
Hey,
voice.
man, I'm good. Thank you, man. I just wanted to say, from the bottom of my heart, man, thank you. Because about 10 years ago, man, I've been following you and supporting the podcast and everything for that long. About 10 years ago, I was a teenager back then.
Wow.
I was talking to this girl, and I was in a sticky situation with her. And I hit you up on Twitter, and I said, hey, Dante, man, love the show. I'm talking to this girl, and I'm having some issues. Do you mind if, can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
You gave me your number, and I called you, and you dropped a really good game. I learned a lot from it. And, yeah, 10 years later, I'm still rocking with you, man. Open up my YouTube, watch you. So I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate it so much, man. You're such a valuable person, man. I just appreciate it, man. So I just want to call in and, pay homage.
Thanks, Jay, man. I appreciate you, bro. I mean, I think 10 years ago I don't even think I was doing consultations then. So it's like you had to catch me on the fly, because a lot of time I wasn't heavily on social media and stuff. But man, I'm glad I could help you, man. I'm glad you're part of the team, man. I want y'all, everybody who's listening, everybody who's in the comments, y'all, we're part of the Square Pimp Brigade, bro. We are a family, and you gotta lift each other up. There's a movement. We're trying to start this movement, and starting this movement is truly important. Thanks for calling in, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. God bless.
All right, later. Just so you know, I'm actually working on some stuff where I'm gonna, hopefully in the next couple of months, I'll be coming to a city near you, and what I'm proposing is a thing called Dinner with Dante, which would be I'll have it be 30 guys at a dinner, whatever the fee. I haven't figured out the money, but it will be like a dinner, and we get to sit down, we break bread together, and then y'all just ask me whatever you want right in person, and chop it up. And what I really would like to do is travel throughout the city, through all the major cities and stuff, and go, all the major cities, and show up and then do the Dinner with Dante, and then I'm probably gonna be doing stand up in that city as well. So look for that, man. I got my man Jay Kemp is kind of working that out right now, trying to hammer all the nails out of that. But that'll be coming. Don't forget, y'all, you see what's up, one-on-one consultations is DanteNero.com. Don't forget also the phone number's up, wide open. 929-269-4922. I just figured out how to mute the phone after somebody's on it, so I'm kind of excited about it. Don't forget also the Patreon is another way to support the show. If you're shy, you don't want to call in, you don't want to, can't afford the consultations, you can support us at check patreon.com/manschools 202. I constantly put content up. The phone lines is coming in, baby. Let's see, bam. What's your name? What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello? Let's see. Hello? Hello? I don't know. I'm losing people. That's weird. Call back. I don't know where I got cut off. Man, I might have to reset the phones. Let's try it one more time. Let me see. You know what? Yeah, call back. Figure this out. Yeah, we're trying to do some things. I'm working on an online course as well to give a foundation so that by the time you call me, you know the basic principles and stuff like that. Let's see if we can get this one more time. What's up? Where you calling from? What's your name?
What's up, Dante? My name is Kendrick.
What's up, Kendrick? How
I'm
you doing,
from
bro?
Florida.
What's going on, bro?
I'm good. So, just to be transparent, my name isn't actually Kendrick. I'm not saying my real name because
It's fine. It's fine, bro.
It's part of the reason I'm calling you.
Okay. Talk to me.
So, I got charged with sexual assault, right?
Okay.
And if you Google me, that's the first thing that pops up on the internet.
Okay.
So it's a variable in my dating life that, you know,
this comes up and it becomes it's an issue.
An issue. But what I try to do is, so you have this thing when you say, what would Dante do?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Two things come to mind, right?
Yeah.
One thing is the story that you say about guys on death row and how they have no future, but they still could pull off conjugal visits.
Yes, absolutely.
And the other thing was how you was talking about consulting with a guy with a lazy eye.
Yeah, yeah.
And you ask him if that's his value.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if that's all he brings to the table.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make excuses for myself to be like, okay, I got charged with this case. I haven't been found guilty or anything, but I don't want to make excuses for myself as to why I don't have a dating life because of it, you know?
Okay, let me ask you this. What was the charge from?
The charge was from
I mean, you're anonymous, bro. So I mean, you can say what it is.
I was massaging.
You were what?
Now I have 8 years of massaging.
You were massaging somebody?
Yeah, at a spa. You know, I was an employee.
Okay, so this was a like a
it was consensual.
It was consensual. And then
my assumption is after the fact she felt, you know,
kind of funny about it.
Yeah. So then she had to change her mind because in the moment she was about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have went along with it if she wasn't. Now mind you, I have 8 years of experience.
Right.
So I've gotten busy with women before. So I know what's what. I know how to pick up on signs and cues and all that.
Are you trained masseuse?
Oh, 100%. I went to school, licensed and insured.
Okay.
And I never had an incident. It wasn't until this one time. That's why I'm like, I'm convinced she had a buyer's remorse or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
it happens.
You know, just because of my experience, you know.
Only
time it's ever happened, and I've had.
All right. So what's your question? Because I got enough of the picture to know where this is going. What's your question?
How do I keep this from being an issue in my life? Because, like I said, you Google my name.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing that pops up.
Okay, let me say this. Initially, when you meet a girl, right? You Googling you right out the gate, right?
Oh no! Right out the gate, I'm good.
Right.
It's
Okay.
after the fact.
So here's all you have to do is this situation, and you just once you like you said, listen, I need to tell you right up front. You tell them like soon as it's clicking, and you on that second date, and you whatever you just say what it is. I had this situation. I was a masseuse. It was consensual, and the woman had buyer's remorse. And now, what did she just have buyer's remorse, or were you dating her, or were you
I
dating
did.
her, and then you didn't want to do what she wanted you to do, or what was the parameters of it?
I didn't know her. She was just a client, like any other.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what you do. You go. This was consensual, and then after the fact, she had buyer's remorse and felt some kind of way on it. I mean, was she married, or did she have a husband, or a boyfriend, or something?
Yeah, she had a man. I didn't find out until after.
Yeah, but that's probably
Lawyers
nothing.
got
I
involved.
mean, listen, let's be honest. If she would have gone through this, and then whatever would have happened, then the whole thing would have moved on, and if you never saw her again, you would have never saw her again. Am I right?
Yeah, because that's happened on other occasions.
Right. So what I'm saying is, here's the thing. This is the same thing. I mean, I hate to put it to belittle it or put it on the same level as this, but you know how a girl would say, "I don't date short men," or "I need a high value man," and if you don't make this or whatever. I mean, there's a whole bunch of gold digger videos online where chicks is like, "I want to talk to you," and then they see your car, and then they go, "Oh, what's up with you? I like your car." You know what I'm saying? It's like what I'm saying to you is this moment in your life is not the measure of who you are. Do you know what I mean? Clearly it's not the measure of who you are, because you still are getting suitors. I mean, you still can go out on dates, but the problem what I think you have to do is you have to
Address it up front.
you gotta be upfront with it, because if you're up, here's the thing: when people are honest about something that they don't have to be honest about, then people have to ask, well, why was he honest about this? Like, why did he didn't have to say anything. I may have never known this, but the fact that you're being honest about this up front is really to your advantage as opposed to your disadvantage. Now, if somebody finds out about something prior to this, right, and then it looks like you were hiding it, it does you an injustice. Make sense?
Yeah, because then it would look like I'm hiding it.
Right. And the bottom line is you're not. Look, here's the thing. I don't know you, right? And if
Right.
you are choking chicks and forcing chicks, if you diddying, if you
Bruh.
diddying chicks, we all that's gonna be known. Like that.
Yeah.
Anytime you see whatever, like anytime somebody says that somebody was, like you get somebody some accusation about somebody getting me too'd or something, there's never a situation where it's one account. Do you know what I mean? When you talk to R. Kelly, or you talk, I think there's, I mean, even with excuse me, how many women have come out on Diddy since then? I think it's something like 16 women, and then dudes, and you know what I'm saying? Like, what don't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse. Whoever, people, when people have a particular constitution, that is what they do. If somebody's a liar, they lied before. Today's not the first time they lied. And so understand this one incident, right, that you're going through, right? And I don't even know if you're still going through it or you're not, but the point is, this doesn't.
The case is still open.
Okay, so this doesn't define you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No more than you. No more than if you have a lazy eye, or if you. I actually had this same conversation with somebody who had herpes. And I was like, I said to the guy then, I said, man, when you describe yourself, I said, tell me about yourself. And he was like, yo, I'm intelligent. I'm a hard worker. I got a great job. I'm a kind dude. I'm creative. I play music. I play the piano. And when he listed all the great things about himself, one of the things that he didn't list was herpes. Now, I'm not saying you have to be honest about that stuff, right? But when you're honest about it, you'd be surprised at how much a woman will look past it, especially if you're honest up front. Make sense?
Yeah.
And you sound like rough. I'm assuming you're still going through it, right?
Bro, Dante, this shit has been, because it's public, right?
But how long have you been going through it? How long has the case been going on?
Since January.
All right, so it's still fresh, man. I mean, but I mean, look, what's the lawyer saying about the case?
The lawyer doesn't sound too confident, bro. The prosecutor is trying to negotiate a deal, and it's like,
Yeah. Man,
so that's a whole nother thing to worry about. It's like, sometimes I think I shouldn't even worry about dating, considering I have this shit to focus on,
I mean, come on, this is not a situation where you're going to be able to just look past this. But what I want to say to you is, look, one of the things that you can always count on is that things will change. Everything will change. When you're on top of the world, you ain't always going to be on top of the world. When life's got its foot on your neck, that ain't going to last forever either. And so if you just stay righteous, dude, whatever you got to go through when it comes to this situation, you're going to go through and you're going to come out on the other end. It really matters how you handle this when you come out the other end. And I'm telling you that this is not this one thing. Nobody is defined about one thing. I mean, we all know that Mike Tyson bit somebody's ear off, but we still think of him as probably one of the most dynamic fighters in the history of boxing. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so when we understand that, I mean, just keep your head up, dog. But if you're talking about your dating life, all you got to do is be honest about it. And don't get me wrong. If you're honest about it, there's some women are going to go, yeah, well, I don't know, so I'm out. But you have a much higher percentage of women that are going to look past that simply because you're upfront and honest. I don't think you should let it out on the first date. But when you start digging somebody and you going for the second and the third date, then you say, listen, I want you to understand I'm an honest person and I'm truly transparent and I need to have a conversation with you about something. And this is what happens. I mean, I know dudes who have sexual assault charges or sexual charges because they took a piss outside. You know that, right?
Because he took a what?
If you take a piss out in the street and the cops, yeah, you get, you know what I'm saying? So all things are not equal. You know what I'm saying? There's always a story behind it, and I believe if you're honest about it, I mean, there's people, and you sound like a good dude. I mean, you sound troubled even about this, and you've been doing this a long time, and whatever, and you were probably, and you did this massage thing because of whatever. But I mean, also it's a lesson learned, man. Don't you got to keep it above board because this is what could happen. This is why also I want to say why pickup artist stuff is a problem. Because pickup artist teaches you how to trick women, right? And and so when they have, and I've talked about this before, so you learn all these techniques, body language, neurolinguistics programming, conversational hypnosis, and body language and positioning and all of this stuff. You learn this stuff, and then when you get a girl, and then she's, she may the next morning she could go, hey, I didn't sign up for this. He tricked me, and now because of the Me Too thing, which is, I'm not saying that it's not a legitimate thing because there were guys wilding out. We see that. All you gotta do is watch the Cassie video. Yeah, you gotta watch the cat and you see that there was a need for that. But there's always also a situation where some people will take, there's some women who will take that extra far and not take accountability for it. And this is why pickup is bad, because you fool somebody with the hope that you're going to fool them. They're going to find out later that you wasn't who you said you were. And then you're going to hope that they don't go, well, he took it. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, bro, and I got to see her interrogation. The lawyer made it. He sent it to me, so I got to see her question, and she was being disingenuous and dishonest.
and
So
what did you think about the interrogation?
Well, like I said, she was being disingenuous and dishonest. The questions she was asking, it's like she was pretending to be emotional, like she got me tooed or whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
so it was like,
you never know, dog. If you got a good lawyer and he starts, you know what I'm saying, starts, digging in, there's always a possibility, because the truth always comes out in the end, man. But I mean, we also know
she
that
was
the
being
judicial,
flirtatious. Like the whole time, took off her panties, spreading her legs.
Yeah.
And it went on for a long time, bro.
Yeah.
Multiple orgasms. And like the person that was the detective that was asking the questions was like, "Did you have orgasms?" She said no, which was a blatant lie.
Right.
Which was just one example of her being disingenuous throughout the interrogation.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
man,
fuck,
I'm
bro.
sorry.
And it makes me distrust women, too, like, cause it's like, fuck.
I'm sorry you going through that, bro. But I mean, as far as your dating life and stuff, like all you really got to do is be upfront. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like I just had a guy talking to me about pimping. I remember having a girl. I was doing an interview, and I was dating this girl, and she was like, "I need to talk to you." I was like, "Yeah, okay." I met up with her, and she was like, "Oh, so you was a pimp before?" I go, "Yeah, absolutely, I was. I talked about it. I was open. I wasn't hiding it. I was in my 20s. It was something that I did, just not something I'm particularly proud of." And, and I was like, "So this is what this is about. You want to break up because of something that I did when I was 20 that I'm candid about?" And I really clowned her, because I was like, "Because if you want to end it, we can end it." I said, "But I've never been untrustworthy or dishonest with you." So, and I think when you go with that, man, you always gonna win. You feel me?
Yeah.
Man, keep your head up, bro. And keep
Appreciate
listening, man. You keep listening. There's nothing like hearing, that you ain't the only one. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fam.
All right, bro. I appreciate you, Dante.
I appreciate you too, man. Keep your head up. All right.
All right.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing, but it's like, I mean, this is exactly why I say pick up and all this false pretense. You can't have this false pretense, because somebody can just say you did something that you didn't do. Like, if you're fooling them, you're misrepresenting who you are. There's always a possibility that a woman can say, "Well, he lied to me, misled me, and because he misled me, I believe he took advantage of me." And if they're willing to do that, I mean, there are women that are willing to do that. I mean, funny, I used to talk about this. I had this clip that went viral about Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, Amber Heard took a shit in his bed. Prior to that, they had Johnny Depp was a scoundrel until they found out that he was messing with this chick who was literally took a crap in his bed. How about this? It wasn't even his bed. It was their bed. They lived together. And that was kind of I feel like that was the first time, like, because there was a time where it was like, believe all women. No matter what the case, as if there are no women that are deceitful or vindictive or something, which is just absurd, because that is an element of it's an element of anybody. It's an element of men. It's an element of women. So to act like that is not a thing that could happen is crazy. Well, let me see if we get this.
To accept.
What's up? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Steven, I'm calling from Houston. How's it going?
What's going on, Steven? How you doing? How can I help you, bro?
Good, man. Nothing really today to help me. I just wanted to call in, man, and just encourage you and thank you for what you're doing.
Man, thank you, Steven. I appreciate it.
You've really helped me a lot. Both I did one or two consults with you, and just I've been listening for a while through man school, and just what you provide, I think, is amazing. I'm calling mostly because what I heard a couple weeks ago with that clown that called in and said you were riding Patrice's dick, and it's hilarious.
Are you on a speakerphone,
really?
Steven? Are you on a speakerphone?
Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's much better.
I was, but I'm off now. Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just calling in just to say, like, I found it hilarious that this guy, he called in and said the things that he said to you, because really, this guy is obviously a guy that is frustrated, that hasn't figured it out, and it's like a guy that's walking in the desert, right? He's walking through the desert and he finds an oasis.
Yeah.
And he says, you know what? This water is trash.
Yeah.
This water sucks. I'm gonna try to find water somewhere else and go off and die somewhere. And it's like he's calling in, he's listening to you, he's listening to wisdom.
Yeah.
And he chooses to call in and clown you, and it just, man, it's just I think what you're doing is amazing. I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people really appreciate it.
Thank you,
and
man.
I just wanted to encourage you, man. And I give when I can. I give when I can to the Cash App, and it means a lot what you're doing.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. It's a funny thing. It's just, I mean, my I absolutely grew up a street dude, and so my initial response was like, "Yo, let's get it," And then, but this is my maturity with time, is that I can see that this dude is in clear pain. You know what I mean? Like he's in pain,
totally.
man. Like his life means nothing. He's not happy. And so he's listening to me, yet and still he has nothing else to do. When there's so much, like I'm all about, if you don't think what I'm saying is worthy, that's fine. I mean, I literally get, I don't think I've had a live yet where I haven't had somebody who called in was saying, look, I've had consultations, I've listened to you, and this is what happened. I mean, we get a testimonial every day, like every time I go live. And so I know also that my intention is always to help, and it's in love. And so even I was talking to somebody about that, and it was like our first time, and somebody in the comments was like, yeah, Dante, you finally blowing up, because you don't get the haters until you blow up. When you start blowing up is when people hate. So the thing is, afterwards I thought about how much pain this dude is, and I felt a little bad because I was going so hard on him. I was like, why you got Patrice balls in your mouth? Why you gargling something? You know what I'm saying? Because when I'm indignant, I'm indignant. Like it's 0 to 100. Then I thought about it, like, here's a dude who can't even articulate what the problem is. Because if somebody believes that, I'll have a conversation. I'll have a conversation with anybody. I had a guy who called in who was actually Godfrey's, one of Godfrey's fans, and he was a religious dude, and I'm an atheist, right? And I'm not telling anybody else that they got to be an atheist, but I'll have that conversation, because I am not going to I will not have emotions. Let emotions have a seat at the table. So if you want to have a discussion, you better be ready, though. You better be ready, because I'm ready. I'm ready to have the conversation. I don't believe anything. I don't say anything that I haven't thought about it, where it's no intention. And so, that's where I'm. But I appreciate you calling in, bro. Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're totally right what you just said. I mean, I think it just goes back to empathy. Just understand that, he's a guy too. He's late figuring it out. We've all figured it out, and he's just suffering. He's in pain, So anyway, thanks so much.
When he gets up every morning, he's got to brush his teeth, and he got to look at that face. and all the things that comes with losing. All right, brother. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, brother.
Let me see. I got a super chat from Robert. Let me see what this is, Rob. Robert says, my girl and I, I'm 35, male, broke up with her after 4 years. We have mutual friends. One of our friends whom knew her first is a hot English chick whom I still play basketball with. I want to pursue it, but I can tell he's the best. It would pose challenges. Robert, called in, man. This is a little more extensive. Call in and we'll talk about it. All right. I will say this, whether you call in or not, whether you're too shy to call in, I will say this. The question is, and I think this is a thing from how I look at it, are the challenges that whatever the situation poses, is it worth what you're going to get out of it? Because if it's not, I mean, this is probably, and you said my girl's 35, we broke up after 4 years. We have mutual friends. I'd also like to know, how long have y'all been broken up? Wait a minute. Should I pursue and say how I feel, or let the sleeping dog lie and go for other gals? Listen, I absolutely think that you should go for other gals in the city, whether or not you pursue this or not. None of this is an all end all cure all. My question, Robert, is there's so many, like if you were on the phone with me, there's question I would ask you, but I'm going through what your comments are. Is she showing a level of interest? I would have to know that. I would have to know, do you think it's worth it? I mean, do you know this woman on a personal basis where you believe that being with her is worth it? Or is it just the fact that your ego tripping and this is something that's available? I mean, do you have a connection with her already? Is she flirting with you? Is she giving you indicators of interest and stuff? So there's a lot more into this. And if you really want to figure this out, I mean, let me put this up. You can always get a consultation on at DanteNero.com. Click on consult. But this, in order, there's basic fundamental principles that we all can apply to. But I think sometimes it takes time to be in a situation where you can reapply those principles in situations that seem like, this is why I say this, that true wisdom is the understanding of underlying concepts, how they relate to situations that seem irrelevant but really are not. What that means is, as you learn the overall understand, you have the overall understanding of the principles, you still have to know. Call in, Robert. Call in. Give me you know what you can do, Robert? Do this. What's your, put in the chat, what your zip code is, and I'll call you back. Just put your zip code in, and I'll call you back. Because I should see it on the missed calls, if anything. There's a situation. There's so many questions about. Let me see. He didn't put it in. 9310. I'm not sure. Let me see. 9. I don't see that in the missed calls. 93210. I'm not sure what that means. Anyway, Robert, if you can put your zip code in, and I'll be able to see where you called, or when the last time you called. The Wyatt Christian, what's popping? You just getting in? I didn't see you in the comments all day. Barack 70, what's going on? Wait, my bad. You're right. I didn't have the phone on. My bad. Call again. One more time. Call in, Rob. Yo, keep the lines clear so Robert can call me and I can talk to him about this. Go ahead, give it another shot. My bad. I've been trying. I'm trying to get more technical, y'all, because when I'm calling and I'm talking to somebody on the phone, what'll happen a lot of times somebody will call in and Syncope Bane, what up? All right, see if this is Robert. Robert, this you?
Oh, Daniel.
Okay. Oh, Robert, I got your
To
number now,
accept,
Rob.
press 1. To send a voicemail.
What up, Daniel? What's going on?
Yes, how you doing, Dante? Love your advices that you give to people, and I just want you to help me with mine.
Okay.
If that's cool.
Hey, Robert, let me just
Oh,
real quick.
yeah.
Robert, after this call, I'm gonna call you back, okay? Good, Daniel. Talk to me, bro.
Oh, yes. I've been going through the situation with my child's mother, and we had this one really big argument that really, like, just, we didn't date in years, but, I could see that she always talked about me towards my mother and different people. And I know that she always keeps telling me not, it's like everything that I do, I try to help her and stuff like that. And I just want, like, what you think about that?
That she's talking to your mother? Robert, I see you calling.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you back right after I get off with this call. She's talking to your mother. Now, have you had a conversation with her about that?
Yeah, I did, because she keeps telling mother that I heard her and different things, like I
Now,
heard her feelings and stuff.
what did she say when you told her that?
Yeah, she told me that like she was just telling her certain things, because she felt like she had to explain herself,
Let me say this. Let me say this for the record. You should not bring your mother. Let me ask you, is your mom and your dad together now?
Oh, my dad's not. My dad's dead.
Okay, so what's interesting is that she's speaking to somebody who didn't even know how to pick a man that was going to be around. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's no disrespect to your mom. I'm just saying, if your mom don't have a man, like, how is she talking to her? Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But what I'm saying is, you have to be clear about the boundaries. That the relationship between do you live with your child's mother or no?
No.
So y'all in separate homes and okay. So here's my thing: you have to be clear with her about the boundaries, about the fact that this should not. I mean, she shouldn't be talking to her mom about it. You shouldn't be talking to your mom about it. What's between you and her is in between you and her. Adding all these other people into the mix is only going to spoil it. You have to be able to talk to her in a real way, irrespectively of who's around, and y'all need to keep it copacetic between y'all. Are y'all still together or no?
No, we're not together.
Okay,
well, I mean, not together.
Well, it's even more important that you keep other people's nonsense out of your life, especially other people's nonsense that, without a doubt, is you don't even have somebody who has the expertise to give you real advice on it, But
yeah.
Do you talk to your mom about the relationship?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to stop that too. Yeah, I mean, you're asking her to do something that you're not doing yourself. By you having that conversation with your mom, what you're doing is you're bringing your mother into, which you can't ask her to do something that you're not doing yourself. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
You have to. This is a grown relationship that you and her need to deal with, and y'all are both grown. You're grown enough to have children. You're grown enough to sit down and have conversations and do what's best for this child, and not bring all the rest of this nonsense in it that's only going to complicate it anyway. You feel me?
Yeah.
Talk to your boy, or call up and then talk to me. How about that?
All right, that's cool, man. I appreciate that.
All right, brother.
All right, thank you, man. You have a nice day, man.
You're welcome. All right, Robert, you're going to be the last call for the night, Robert. So let me get this popping. Let me see, 508. Here it is. Hope I can do it. Let's see if it'll go. Come on, man. Hold on. That ain't it. Shit. Damn it. I don't know why I can't get this. Come on, Robert. Shit. Hold on. See if I can get it. There it is. Why can't I call? Damn it. I don't know. Robert, call in, man. I can't seem to get it. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Robert.
Yo.
Robert, what's going on?
Man, what's going on?
How you doing? Hold on. Let me cancel this real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on. Give me a minute.
No worry, man.
You there, Rob? Shit. Robert, you there? God damn. Shit. Robert, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on? How can I help you, bro?
What's up, man? Yeah, so as I was telling you, like, I've been out of a relationship for 1 year. It's a 4-year relationship. And as you know, like, you always have mutual friends, that
Now,
kind of thing.
do you still keep in contact with your ex?
No, we did not. It was pretty much a cold breakup, you know?
Okay.
So, but
does your friend, does this girl keep in contact with your ex?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And
yeah.
what is her take on it?
Honestly, I've been trying to just like make a division between like not talk about my ex when I'm around like mutual friends or, you know.
I get that, but I'm saying, is she aware that you're attracted to her?
No, I think like maybe she has given some, you know, hints. She's kind of subtleties and that kind of thing.
What kind of hints?
Making herself available to kind of like spend time, play basketball whenever. It's just one thing we do together. But then also talking about how like there's no good men in the city. How even when we play ball, there's like, you know, she's like, oh, the only reason I play is to you know, like a male dominated sport is just to meet guys. And she's like,
man, ask her out. Just ask her out.
Yep.
Ask her out. Just, say, listen, I'll take you out. And if she says no, she says no. Then you know. I mean, if she's saying things like that, I mean, nobody says, you know, like it's almost like, oh my God, my pussy's wet. Like it's like nobody says that in a room, you know, to somebody if they don't want somebody to hear it. You know what I mean? Because if anything, you know, when it comes to the proximity rule, women don't make themselves available to men that they're not interested in. And if they say things that are kind of even covertly sexual, they're aware of that and they're aware how it's going to be respond. Every woman, is she attractive?
Yeah.
So I mean,
cute,
you know, she probably has people hitting on her all the time, and so
she said she does not.
That's crap. What she means by that is she don't got the guys who are hitting on her, that she wants to hit on her. That's hitting on her. Here's the thing: if a guy's, you know, like when it comes to the dating game, when a guy says, you know, I'm starving, what he means is there's nothing in the fridge but a bottle of water, a box of baking soda. You know what I mean? When a woman says I'm starving, what she means is there's no guys that I want to sleep with that are hitting on me. So when somebody makes those innuendos and stuff, there's a reason why they're making those innuendos. I would just ask it, and to be honest, something it's not. you don't owe your ex anything, because I guarantee you that your wife is gonna get the business from whoever she wants to get the business from.
Oh yeah.
And she's not.
Oh yeah.
She
She's a
don't
cold
care.
bitch.
She don't care who, what, when, why, whatever. So I mean, and if she says no, I could never do that, because you go, okay, I totally understand that, and you keep it moving. You know.
Right. Yeah. And then how about like mutual friends in general? When you know, break up with someone, especially after a long period of time, like, I don't want to be the people checking in on me, trying to get information, reporting to the ex, feeding the drama by spending time
I'm gonna
with
tell
these
you,
people, or that's just more like paranoid.
I can tell that it doesn't matter what information. Like, if you don't care, y'all ain't together, it doesn't matter what she finds out. And when you don't care, when you're doing what you do and you're living your best life and doing what you think is best for you, you don't have to. Whatever they find out, they find out. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, if she's checking up on you, right, then she's not over the relationship.
Yeah.
What
It's
was
one of
your
those things where
your puppy love? What was your first girlfriend ever?
who was or when?
Your first girlfriend ever? How old are you?
I'm 35.
Do you remember your first girlfriend ever?
Oh yeah.
When's the last time? When's the last time you checked up on her?
I hadn't thought about her in like 20 years.
Okay. So do you understand what I'm saying? When we don't care, we don't give it energy. If we care, then we give it energy. So if your ex is giving energy, and she's got people spying on you or whatever, there's a reason that she's not. That's even better, because then she's not over the relationship and you've already moved on. Make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't want to be feeding any more drama. I just want to live my life.
It can all be dismissed because you ask her out. If she says no, you keep it moving. If she's going to act funny because you asked her out, then what was the whole idea? I mean, you understand what I'm saying? I can step on your foot, right, by accident and say, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that." Now, if you're going to make a big thing about it and hold a grudge for the rest of my life, then there's something that says something about you. That's not what says something about me. Two things that we will always have to do as human beings is give forgiveness and ask for forgiveness. Nobody is not subject to that. Make sense?
Yeah, and it really also just like don't really care what people think too much either. Just do what you want to do.
Yeah, but I think you are caring about what people think. This is why you're worrying about all these, and you gotta get out of that. Just if you're living your best life and you're practicing ACE, none of that matters. Because I don't give a nothing about what somebody thinks.
Let them know.
Yeah, but it's also because I'm not living a foul life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm living ACE. So it's like let them.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for calling in,
All
bro.
right, man.
I'm sorry you were having so much problem trying to get through, but we got it done, right?
We made it, man. We made it.
All right, brother. I'll holler at you.
All right. Later.
Yo, real quick, y'all see the one-on-one consultations, DanteNero.com. Let me get the Patreon. Don't forget to like and share, please. Like, share, and comment, please, on the YouTube channel and stuff. Follow me on Instagram and YouTube and all the platforms. I really appreciate that. If you could do that, I'm trying to grow these numbers. You see, patreon.com/manschool202. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we're gonna shut it down, peoples. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all are the dopest fans I ever had in my life. There I am. GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? Sexual Revolution is being podcasted. Y'all, I love y'all, man. I'm excited to be y'all. We'll be back up on Sunday at 8:30. All right? Tell a friend. Peace.